Hey everyone, I'm Hazel and this is Angus and we're here at Lower Pentrywyn on the Orme in North Wales, enjoying a bit of nice Welsh summer, and we thought we would include this video discussing 4 things in climbing and whether they are helpful or harmful.
And those 4 things are practicing falling, social media, sharing beta and
Logbooks.
Beta's definitely helpful in climbing. We're kind of sharing our psyche, we're sharing our passion for climbing, we're showing why it was fun or why it was good, and I'll even watch videos of people climb so I can get more information about a route. And also you can help understand whether a route is good for you, whether it's a good challenge level for you, whether you're going to have a good time on it. Sometimes some routes have something really specific about them that it's just a lot more fun if you know that, rather than spending all your time and energy getting really tired doing something a bit naff when you could have a much more flowy experience by just climbing through it with the right beta. And sometimes beta is kind of safety orientated, where you clip the second bolt, how you get down from the route. So I think beta is definitely helpful.
I think the biggest problem with beta is that if you're the climber and you're trying to figure out a move or you're on the on-site, you want to just be really focused on what you're doing. And when someone's giving you beta, that's a lot of information and it can just be really distracting.
Try to get your body closer to the wall. You're a bit closer in.
When beta is unsolicited and maybe the intentions aren't quite right, it can also just come across as really patronising.
Yeah, you're using all the wrong holes. You're using all holes I don't use.
You try being 6 months pregnant. A lot of the time, other people's beta doesn't work. I think one of the reasons my technique progressed as fast as it did is because I'm really short, so I wasn't able to use other people's beta, so I had to be creative, I had to solve things for myself. I think there can be a danger as well if you're really reliant on other people's beta, that it can cause you to get the challenge level wrong. So like if someone says to you, yeah, that route's really easy, or the crux is really simple, you know, that can cause you to get on climbs that aren't quite right for you. And that's especially true when you give beta around the psychological challenge level of the climb, rather than just like the physical moves as well. I think the verdict is that overall it's helpful, but with this heavy caveat of it needs to be thoughtful, you have to be mindful when giving it out, has to be considered, solicited.
Yeah. Consensual beta giving is okay.
Lots of people like to hate on social media, but I actually think there's a lot of positives. I think the main thing is that you're kind of embedded in this international community. You get to share your passion with others. You get to learn a lot from others, especially when it's a bit more long form, like this video on YouTube. It can be really educational and inspirational. For me, just like on a personal level, I think I would feel a lot less connected to the climbing community if I wasn't on social media at all.
Online praise and validation for sending can influence our motivation, whereas knowing that we'll have to share a failure or that story can also be uncomfortable. That can create extrinsic motivation where we're not motivated by just being there in the climb, but how that might be shared later on. So the verdict on social media, helpful or harmful? I think it can be really easily a harmful thing, but I'd hate to lose all the things that Hazel described just because I didn't take that opportunity to work on my mindset.
Yeah, I want to say overall it's helpful. How you use social media is going to tell you something about you and your mindset and your climbing. So I think, yeah, just using it mindfully.
So I think practicing falling is really helpful for climbing because I think falling is a part of climbing whether we fall or not. Falling is a physical skill that needs to be practiced in order to do it well and to do it safely. If I practice falling, I can fall better and therefore fall safer. And that goes for the belayers end of the rope as well. But also, I can be more psychologically comfortable with falling or anticipating a fall if I practice falling. On this route, I had to skip a draw here and a draw there, and that made me less comfortable with falling when I was climbing up my limit. So by practicing falls in this area, I knew what was going to happen. I could practice the fall itself. I could expose myself to that anticipation and the sensation of falling. I was more comfortable while climbing and I climbed better. So I basically just had a way better experience because I practiced the falls.
Right, so first things first, I'm obviously a massive proponent of fall practice, but there are some cons. The first one is that it's really easy to get wrong. It often means that actually you end up making your fear of falling worse rather than reducing your fear of falling. And then the other thing is that there are styles of climbing where it just doesn't make sense to practice falling. Free soloing is an example, but also, you know, like alpine climbing, a lot of trad climbing. If you're climbing on very like slabby, low angle terrain, then you can't do, say, full practice on those kinds of climbs. All right, so full practice, harmful or helpful? What's the verdict?
I mean, it's definitely helpful. I definitely think full practice is a really good thing for climbing, but it's so easy to get wrong. Yeah, if you do practice falling, please do it in a really safe way and seek out an expert like us. And the last thing I want to talk about is logbooks, and I mean like public online logbooks. And I think they're really good. They help me keep track of what I've done, and I can see what my partners have done as well. And for me, so much of climbing is the story around it, kind of what happened and who you were with. And I would never remember all that if I didn't have like an online logbook.
So Angus loves his logbook. I do not keep a logbook. And I think some of the cons of keeping a logbook are that it's not really about the stories and about the experience. It's usually more about the name, the grade, whether you on-sighted it, whether you flashed it. I think the main thing though, like having worked as a coach and helping people with their mindset, is that logbooks do add a lot of anxiety. People often get scared, you know, if I don't on-site this, how is it going to look on my logbook? If this climb takes me like 20 tries, how's that going to look on my logbook? So I think that can really disrupt your mindset.
Or keep an online logbook but private. You still have the advantage of being able to access it anywhere and having this database of routes, but it's still not that you're sharing with everyone else or you're worried what anybody else will think.
There's pros and cons. I think my final verdict though is like, unlike a lot of the other ones that we've discussed today, for me the pros don't necessarily outweigh the cons. I think logbooks are more harmful than they are helpful, but I am kind of biased because I've seen more of that side of it.
But I think a private logbook is still more helpful.
All right, thanks for listening. Hopefully you found that helpful.
And not harmful.
And obviously, like most things, it's not really what it is, but it's how we use it. And I think the main thing to do is to like reflect on your experiences with these things and decide for yourself whether it's helpful or harmful. And if it's harmful, whether you want to continue doing that thing or whether you just want to moderate how you do it or how you use it.
If there's something you'd like us to discuss in our next helpful or harmful video, let us know in the comments.
Hey guys, if you found this video interesting and you'd like to learn how to improve your performance and enjoyment while climbing, check out the link in the description and I'll show you exactly how to do that.